Well, hello there, folks. You know the deal. Mark Miles, helping you become an even better trainer, presenter, workshop facilitator, and influencer in general in regards to helping people become better in whatever you're teaching them. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the topic of online presenting. Now, online presenting in the context of how do you keep the kinesthetic learners happy? How do you keep them happy, right? And the reason for this video is recently I was talking on this topic of learning styles, and someone mentioned that there was something that I did that they really connected with, they really like, and they said, Mark, do you do XYZ because that really helps XYZ type learner? And I hadn't really thought about it, but then when I said to her, I'm like, yeah, maybe I do that, but I hadn't even really put a reason to it. And I've been doing it for other reasons, right? But here's the deal, folks. When you've got humans, generally, you've got ways that people like to learn. You've got people that like to learn through reading things visually, right? It's not me. It really isn't me. You've got people that like to learn through discussing things, right? That's more so me. And then you've got me, which is more so about the kinesthetic side of things. I don't feel like I've learned something until I've done it, until I've tried it, or until I've played with the idea or the concept, right? So here's the deal though. Everybody learns differently. I could say it till the cows come home, and probably the cows are never coming home, right? Everybody learns differently. And the other fun fact about life is that when you are teaching, training, presenting, you will typically default back to your own learning style, your own teaching style, because you're a human, I believe. So if you are more of a visual person, you're probably going to default back to more of the PowerPoints. You probably will, right? And then you'll get frustrated because everyone else doesn't. You'll be like, why don't you? I thought that everyone else loves PowerPoints. Now, if you are more of an auditory person, you're going to do a lot more talking. Then you'll be like, yeah, I'm talking. Everyone's listening. Everyone's learning. When maybe that's not actually the case, right? Visual people are like, I've got to have something to read, right? Or the kinesthetic people are, I want to do something, right? But you're an auditory person, so you're like, everyone learns by listening to me, don't they? All right, lecture style. Kinesthetic people, they'll be like, oh, let's do the hands-on activity. I love the hands-on, right? I love the hands-on, right? So when you're teaching, you'll do a lot of the hands-on, right? Which is all great. We're all humans. I get it, right? But here's the deal, folks. When you are teaching and presenting and training, it's not about you. Crazy idea, right? It's not about you. It's actually about your audience. And in your audience, you're going to have such a range of different types of learners. You're going to have the reading people, the read-write people. You're going to have the talky people. You're going to have the hands-on people, right? So if you are delivering online, you need to appreciate that the visual people, they're generally quite happy because you're showing a bunch of PowerPoints, right? The talky people, you can throw them into a breakout room. They can have a chat. They're happy. They're good to go, right? But the kinesthetic people, they get a little bit frustrated because they want to do something. And in the online environment, as we all know, it can be a little bit tricky to really get the kinesthetic learners or the tactile learners really fully engaged, right? So we need to think about what are some strategies to be able to do that. Now, there's a long build up to this 3 tips that I'm going to give you, maybe even 4. But how do you bring a kinesthetic learner into an online learning environment? And how do you actively engage them? First one, grab a pen, write this down. First one is breaks. So as a human, people need breaks. Breaks will really help re-energize a kinesthetic learner. And generally, if you're a human, you need a break every 45 to 50 minutes. You just do, right? So in the online environment, be proactive in giving your breaks as a presenter, right? That's going to keep the kinesthetic people happy. Next one, use the chat box. Now, kinesthetic people, they're going to find any kind of activity that creates a movement. They're going to like that. So get people, everyone, especially the kinesthetic learners, to drop a comment in the chat, right? So if you can hear me, drop a yes. If you finish the last task, drop a D for done. Write down XYZ. Once you've written it down, drop a D in the chat box. If that makes sense, drop a yes in the chat box. Drop an E for engagement, all right? be very, very proactive in getting people to react in that chat box, because that is going to really go a long way to get those kinesthetic people happy and fulfilled. Next one, get people to be taking action, such as grab a pen and write this down. Once you've written it down, drop a D in the chat, right? So it's not necessarily about getting people to do a certain thing, but it's getting them to do something. And once they've done something, that's the equivalent of them going out and doing a role play or an activity, right? They're doing something. They're not just sitting there listening to you. Now, next one, pop people into a breakout room and get them to do an activity. Now, that activity could be something like go and research X, Y, Z and come back with the answer. It could be something like go and do a role play and actually set up the role play properly, right? So all of these things that you would normally do in a face-to-face environment, you can do in the online environment, and you can send them into a breakout room. But how you send them in, what you say when you send them in is very, very important as well. And you can check out my book for how to do that and scripting on how to do that. Now, next thing is with kinesthetic learners, absolutely you can do physical activities as well in the online environment, right? You can get people to raise their hand. You can get people to stand up. I regularly do these things in the online environment. You can actually create movement in the room, in the online environment. Obviously, it's got to be context dependent, but you can get people moving and you can get people creating energy in that environment as well, right? So on that note, folks, let's recap. We've got give them breaks, get them responding in the chat, get them into breakout rooms doing activities so they're not just listening to you or not just looking at PowerPoints, and last of all, get them actually physically moving so they're kinesthetically connected to the content and the learning experience, right? The more you get them actively involved, the more they're going to take away from your session, right? So, on that note, folks, hope you got some value from the video. If you did, like, comment, share. Let's get the message out there, and let's raise our standards of online training and delivery in Australia and beyond. My name is Mark Miles. Hope you're getting some value from these videos. If you are, let me know about it. And let's get the message out there even deeper, even stronger, so that people are enjoying online learning and online training even more going out there. Because at the end of the day, it seems like it ain't going away, right? Thanks for watching, team. See you on the next one.